Welcome back to the MyTakeHoops Podcast. Today we are joined by former five-star recruit in the 2020 class and rising sophomore at Auburn University, Walker Kessler. Welcome, and how are you doing?
Appreciate it, man. I'm doing well. Just taking it day by day.
Yeah. It's good to hear. What have you been up to during this time? I mean, it's the off season, COVID restrictions kind of regressing a bit. So what's life been looking like for you?
Yeah, so Auburn's opened up quite a bit, actually. So, it's almost, there's some form of normalcy here. But we've been hitting, practice, weights, conditioning, kind of off-season stuff. Just trying to get better right now, That's what the
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. I mean, the off-season grind is really something different.
Yeah.
A lot of what you don't get to see, like the fans don't get to see it, and the public doesn't really get to see it. So, what are the hours kind of like? You waking up early and then just grinding?
Well, I mean, definitely have some early mornings, but sleep is pretty important too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to have a couple days where you can sleep in a little bit to like 9 or 9:30. But no, it's a good balance because you don't want to go too hard to where you're not fresh going into the season, but you do want to get better. So I don't know, probably like it's only 8 hours maybe with like the team, and then individual stuff is kind of based on whatever you want to do.
Gotcha.
4 hours on the court, 4 hours in the weight room. It just depends, honestly.
Gotcha. Well, I really want to start back in high school and kind of go chronologically to where you're at now. So your senior year, class of 2020, you were named Gatorade Player of the Year in Georgia, and then also McDonald's All-American. What were your emotions like winning those awards?
I mean, it was something. I'm not even gonna lie. Growing up, I didn't really know a lot about all that stuff. I just kind of played just to play. I mean, my dad played at Georgia, my brother played at Georgia, so that was kind of the goal. Be good enough to where I could go to Georgia when I was like a little kid. And then when it started to get more serious, like 8th grade, you start hearing about rankings and all this stuff. And, I wasn't really highly touted my early years. I was just scrawny white kid trying to play basketball. But then, just things started to get going, and then you just start seeing progress. And once you actually get to that point where you're announced the McDonald's All-American or Gatorade Player of the Year, you're just like, wow. It's kind of like, obviously it's not the end goal, but it's cool to be recognized, for like the numerous hours of work you've dedicated like your life to it, So
yeah. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, when did you hit that growth spurt? Because what are you now? 7'1", 7 foot?
Yeah, 7'1". So I was always tall, but I think between I want to say 8th grade and 9th grade year, I grew like 6 inches from like 6'3" to 6'9". Talk about pain, man. Whew. I swear I felt like I was an 80-year-old man going upstairs and stuff with the knee pain. But
that's ridiculous.
I think 6 inches was kind of my biggest growth spurt in the year.
That's incredible. I thought I grew like 3 inches at one point in 1 year, and like I was like, oh, I got pretty lucky. I grew 3 inches in 1 year. 6 inches in 1 year. That's incredible. Like, I mean, did that affect you on the court, you think? Was it hard?
I was like a deer that just got born. It was trying to find my legs, figure out where it was in space. Like, it was, talk about some funny moments. I was a looking dude on the court. But, you get used to it and kind of just find your body and stuff. But, there was definitely some growing to do on the court. Not literally, but,
as a player,
how to move.
Yeah, for sure. So somewhere during that time frame of your senior year, during the spring, the COVID pandemic sets in. Can you describe like the feelings that you had as a player, but also as a student? Like you're set to graduate and conclude your first 12 years of schooling. What was that like emotionally to not, assuming you probably didn't have graduation or just that last quarter of your senior year, the best quarter of high school? What was that like for you?
I mean, it was tough. You went through it. Like, luckily, we finished. So we won state my senior year, And then 3 days later, school got canceled. So really thankful that we got to get that in,
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like a student goes, I mean, it was devastating, man. You just want to be a senior. You want to enjoy your last year, go to prom and all this stuff, graduate, like throw your cap in the air. Like, it sounds stupid, but you don't really, you kind of just take it for granted. And then when it doesn't happen, you're just,
Yeah. I mean, I feel that, like you said, I can feel it too. Like, I just felt like I got no closure from like ending high school. I felt like I just went from high school and then went to college, and then all my classes were online, and it just felt like I got no closure. It's just, there was no set like marker that said, all right, you're done with high school, move on to the next chapter. It just felt like it all blurred together. It was odd.
Yeah, no, I get it. That's a great way to put it.
So before all this though, back in September of 2019, you committed to North Carolina. What made that the place for you coming out of high school?
So yeah, I loved Coach Williams. Trying to think, I think I narrowed it down to a final 6: Carolina, Duke, Auburn, Michigan, Gonzaga. Is that 5? I can't remember. UCLA, maybe? Not UCLA. Cal Berkeley.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that those were my 6. It was tough. It was tough, like finding that final, because you develop these relationships with these coaches, for 2 years, and then you got to call them and say, hey, I'm not coming to your school. You just feel awful. But in the end, you got to make a decision that you think is best for you. And at the time, I believed it was Carolina, and I love Carolina. I have all the respect for Coach Williams and that staff. I just fell in love with it. I could see myself being a student there without basketball visiting. Obviously when I went there, that was taken away, not due to Carolina, but just because of COVID and everything. So yeah, they just, and like, Carolina's the big man school, growing up, all these, they get the bigs the ball. So no, I just fell in love with them. That was kind of my, really the biggest thing was just I could see myself being a student there without the basketball piece.
Gotcha. And what's the recruiting process like? As much as you can say. I mean, I've always wondered. I mean, I'm not ever getting highly touted looks or anything like that. I think the majority of kids listening to this or people listening to this like don't really know much about the recruiting process. You say you build a relationship with these coaches for about 2 years. So what's it like? Are you just like constantly in contact with them? Or are they just catching up with you? Or can you detail a little bit about the recruiting process?
So it's kind of, in my opinion, as the recruit, it's how much time you put into it. If a coach like gets a hint that you aren't really interested, a lot of the time they aren't going to, pursue a relationship. Now, there's some exceptions to the rule. Coaches will still, try and press. But it's just about how much time you put into it. And then once you develop these relationships, you talk to them, probably at least twice a week, 3 times a week. You visit them, you get to know their families, you get to know them as people, not just as a basketball coach. So it's really, it's an enjoyable process. It's a little overwhelming at times, for sure, especially when you first start out. You're getting all these calls and random texts. And at one point, my parents wouldn't let me bring my phone in my room because they're like, nah, you don't need that, waking you up, whatever. So I had to like I couldn't give coaches my numbers and stuff. Like I gave it all to my parents. So it was overwhelming at first, but once you like narrow it down and develop relationships, I still feel like the relationships that I have with those coaches aren't tarnished,
Right.
So yeah, that's kind of the main thing for me is just how much time you put into it is what the return you're going to get.
Okay. Gotcha. That's an interesting answer. I mean, like I said, I don't know anything about the recruiting process.
Right.
I played high school basketball and like, that was it. But so that's interesting to hear. So you go to North Carolina though, you average 4.4 points and 3.2 rebounds per game with a high of 20 points against Florida State in late February, a double-double with 16 and 12, and then also 8 blocks against Notre Dame in March. Take me through the season with North Carolina as a whole.
Yeah. So it was tough for me because I got hit with 2 14-day quarantines because of close contact, and one of them was right before the season started. So I kind of missed the practices leading into that first game, and so I was kind of just behind at that point. And then we had so many good options at the big position. I mean, you look at Garrison, Mondo, Daron, all three are elite bigs. So it was just tough to rotate all 4 of us in, and I'm not going to sit here and bash any of my past teammates because I love them. And they were great players. I mean, anyone playing, collegiate basketball
knows what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So it was tough, through the year, but I feel like whenever I got like Florida State, I played a little more, like 20 minutes or 21 minutes, and I felt like I produced in those minutes I had. But it was just tough, rotating 4 bigs in. It's a tough situation for the coach to be in. So I don't really have any hard feelings towards the coaching staff at all, But yeah, and then with COVID and everything, it was just a tough year.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my main concern with North Carolina before the season. Like the front court so deep, but like how do you get everyone minutes? How do you like find a set rotation, right? Because
right.
I mean, you, Dayron, 2 5-stars coming in. I mean, you've got a solid big in Garrison, and then also Armando, who's proven it and been there. So like it's like you said, it's just a tough way to get minutes. But now that you've been through one college basketball season, what is something that you've learned that you'll take with you into next season?
As far as Carolina goes, I mean, I learned so much that past year going against, once again, those 3 bigs every day in practice. I mean, you're bound to get better,
Right.
So that helped me a lot. And just like really the biggest thing I learned is, you're going to have bad games. You're not going to make shots. You're not going to whatever. But like, it's just, you can always put in effort, run the floor, dive for a loose ball, go for a rebound, crash the boards, play defense. And that was kind of the biggest thing I learned is like, regardless of how you're doing, like for your team's sake, like play your butt off when you're in,
Okay. Yeah. I asked Marcus Bagley this about a month and a half ago, but can you like put into words how different the college game is from high school? Like how insanely different the competition level is? Because I feel like fans at home can't really conceptualize or understand truly how different the high school game is. Because we watch all these high school 5-stars, 4-stars, even 3-stars dominate at their school. And then they come into college and it's a completely different game. So what's that jump like?
I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm not even gonna try and, lie about it. Just the speed at which it's played.
That's exactly what he said. The speed of the game is different.
And it's not just like, it's just like how mental, like processing plays, like, you're sprinting through, like it's like in high school, I could be like, all right, just give me the ball and I'll do it. Like, but in college, you gotta, and obviously there's times for that too, but you gotta watch your back. You're gonna get a flex screen, you gotta get a cross screen. Like you gotta always. It's just the speed of the game is really the biggest thing.
Okay, yeah, that's cool to hear. You guys agree on that. That's exactly what Marcus said. It's just the speed of the game is different. You have to adapt to it. But after your freshman year, you announced that you'll enter the transfer portal, and you ultimately committed to Auburn. What was that whole process like? And then what made Auburn right for you?
So yeah, that was tough. Because it wasn't. Like a lot of times when players transfer, it's like they have like bad blood with the coach. Not a lot of times, but sometimes it's the case. That wasn't the case for me. Like I still love Coach Williams. I love all the coaching staff, all the players, the school itself. Last year being away from home and locked in like this COVID bubble or whatever was just tough. I just really wanted to be close to home. And that kind of goes into Auburn, For me, it's an hour away from home. And as far as the coaching staff in basketball goes, Coach Pearl was the first coach to offer me. He was kind of the first coach to believe in me. And he's always had that belief, And so that goes a long way for me, And last year obviously wasn't Auburn's best year, but ever since that kind of Final Four run, they have been on the rise. And, you know, coming in, playing with Jabari, all these transfers, Al, Devin, you know, Jay Will. We have a lot of pieces, and I think we can be really good.
That's interesting that you said that. How far away was North Carolina from home for you? How many hours?
6.5 hours drive.
6.5. Okay. Yeah. So UK is about 3.5, or about 3 for me. And like, that's like the perfect distance for me because I wanted to get away a little bit.
I get that. No, I get that for sure.
But
I think if I had class and stuff, it would have been different. But I just think being like locked in a room, like by yourself for so long, I was like, dang, like I just want to be home.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I think I made a total of like 6 friends, and even then, it just didn't feel like the relationships were super solid. So I definitely like, I felt like I was like alone. I was just lucky to be in a position where I'm super introverted, so I didn't mind it at all.
Right.
Like I didn't mind staying in my room and then doing MyTakeHoops and after school.
Right.
That was something that I didn't mind. But yeah, a lot of my friends go about an hour away. So like Ohio State or UC. So yeah, and they say like the convenience factor of being an hour away is just so nice. Like if you need to go home, it's so that factor should definitely plays a role for you. And then you'll also be able to have your family come to games more. Like
that was a big thing for me too, because I couldn't see, you know, obviously because it was COVID and because it's far away. So I just figured, like, yeah, I kind of want to be close to home. You get it. So yeah.
Right. And you mentioned a minute ago, but you'll be joining another 5-star in the front court in Jabari Smith Jr. So what can Auburn fans expect to see from you two, and how excited are you to play with him?
It's gonna be fun. It's going to be really fun. I think, you know, we'll have the best, in my opinion, you know, we'll have the best front court in the country. You know, I know it's a bold take, but I honestly, just playing with him, like, he's such a smart player and so unselfish, and just it's going to be fun. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait for it because I mean, the 2020 class that you were in was just insanely loaded. Mm-hmm. And so the 2021 class doesn't get as much hype as the 2020. Obviously, there's just not as much depth to it. But I mean, near the top, I mean, there's some great players, and Jabari's one of those. So I'm excited to see them come into college and do well. And yeah, I mean, you're both from Georgia, right? So like you got that connection as well. Have you played with him in the past before?
So funny enough, we played their high school in the Elite Eight for the state championship my senior year. And we won by 2. And it was like they had a shot, like a buzzer beater, and just rimmed out. And he had like 20 something. I had like 30. Like it was a battle of like, it was fun. It was really fun. And I played with him a couple of times, like in open gyms and stuff. But we have a really good relationship. I have a good relationship with all the guys, you know, have been super welcoming, even though I'm a transfer. But no, him and I have a good relationship, and it's going to be, like I said, it'll be a fun year for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's great to hear. And I was just about to get into that. So Auburn actually has quite a bit of transfers. I think 4, right? Coming in. So how do you think that plays out? Like you're bringing in 4 guys that yes, have experience, but are completely new to Auburn. So what's that whole dynamic like?
So yeah, honestly, we have spent so much time together, not just on the court, but outside of the court. Like, you wouldn't know that we have transfers, honestly. Like, we all get along very well. We've all gotten to know each other really well and play together really well. So at first, it was definitely tough just because there was all these different systems that people had played for and just different, you know, ideologies. Now it's starting to, you know, settle in, and people are starting to come together. And so I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. I think it's going to be, we're going to be good, really good this year.
Okay. So I like it. I love to hear it. So how long actually have you guys been together? When do you start practicing together? Because what's the schedule like as a college athlete in the summer playing basketball? So like what have workouts been like? When did you really start working out as a team, or I don't really know the rules around.
Yeah, no, I'm here. So I got here most of us got here late May. Like we had like a week to get like our medical stuff, like all the physicals and all that stuff. And then we started practice. It wasn't like practice, more like a team workout, kind of, just getting the rust off a little bit, maybe like 2 weeks. And then some other transfers got here. And then the freshman got here, so Jabari. And then, so like our weekly schedule is, we'll lift 4 times a week, have a team workout probably 3 to 4 times a week, just depending on how many hours, because there's like NCAA rules of how many hours you can go and all that stuff. And then we'll have like 2 or 3 conditioning days, but really light conditioning, but not, because once again, it's July, you're not supposed to be in your tip-top shape yet. But probably like in middle of June is when we started to start running plays and start getting like the team practice stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then we had like a week off last week, like there's like a dead week or something. I don't know. Honestly, man, I just look at my little
and
just show
right. Right. Yeah. I mean, the rules behind it I feel like they are just really hard to follow. So yeah, I just wanted to have a little insight there. But so now you've been with Coach Pearl for about 2 months or so, a couple months. Is there anything that you can tell, like in terms of ideology or just the way they run things, that differs from him and then Coach Williams?
Mm-hmm. The biggest thing, Coach Williams was kind of old school in the way he taught his bigs. His bigs weren't really stretching the floor. They were running the floor, posting up. It's better to, get rebounds down low than take shots on the outside. Which, teach his own. Like that's a system that is viable. I'm not going to sit here and bash the system because, he's a Hall of Fame coach.
Exactly.
Coach Pearl is very keen on having his bigs stretch the floor, not just be post players, but being able to shoot a 3, drive. So I would just say it's a lot more. You gotta be able to do more stuff, or not more stuff, but be more
versatile.
Versatile, exactly.
Gotcha.
So I think that's kind of the biggest thing.
Okay, so is there anything really that you're looking to show scouts or analysts this year that you may have not gotten to show in the past year or the years prior, for somebody that obviously has the goal of getting to the NBA? Is there anything that you're really trying to show?
So yeah, in high school, I was kind of that stretch big position. I don't Kristaps Porzingis, Lauri Markkanen. Right. You know how it is, the stretch big. And then in Carolina, I didn't really get a chance to show it as much as I wanted to. So really just that role, because I feel like I had a pretty good showing of, my motor, my ability to run, rebound, and, getting a little bigger and stronger. But that's what the main thing is, just being able to show that I'm not just, a down low big, but I can play inside and out and have that versatility.
Right. And because that's exactly where the NBA is going. Like you got to be able to play on the perimeter as a big man. Or you just have to be some type of generational talent as a defender.
Right. And generational athlete.
Right. So yeah, I can definitely understand that. And I mean, now that you're one step closer to the NBA, I mean, you go from high school to college, what does getting to the NBA mean to you?
I mean, it's like your life goal, growing up. As a kid, you always dream of, everyone talks about going to play whatever respective sport they play, but play professionally, make a living, doing what you love. So yeah, I can't, there's not really words to describe it. Once it happens, I'm sure I'll be a wreck, I'm sure. But no, I mean, it's obviously you want to last long. The goal isn't just to make it to the NBA. You want to, be successful in the NBA, but to even make it is just, I'll be speechless. So
I've asked a few college players that question, and it's always the same answer. It's like that's what you could grow up dreaming about. And I mean, it sounds cliche, but that's really what someone in your position, that's the goal, right? That like you to get to the NBA, to be one of the top X amount of players in the entire world. It's just like, I don't think people understand how difficult it is.
No, I get chills thinking about it, man.
Is there anyone really that you like model your game after, or take pieces from their game to put into your game?
Not really. I mean, you can look at me. I'm tall, pretty skinny white guy that can shoot a three and post up. Look at Kristaps or Lauri Markkinen or even Lopez. He's been pretty good.
Yeah, he's been pretty good.
So yeah, like you said, like this day and age, there's just so many bigs that can shoot the three. So I wouldn't say it's like a specific player I model my game after.
Okay. I got a follower submitted question, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, of course.
Trey asks, what's the biggest thing you learned from a legendary coach like Roy Williams? I think you mentioned a little bit what you've learned a few minutes ago, but what specifically from Coach Williams?
Yeah. Coach Williams, kind of what I said earlier. He always told us, like, the game is so much about heart, like how much you leave on the court. Because he told us, like, you're not going to be shooting lights out every day. You're not going to be feeling your best self, but you can always put in that effort. And it sounds like, like the cliche answer, but it's like, I didn't realize the reality of it, like the truth of it, until I got to college. Because, like, you just make such a huge impact. And Coach Williams got his players to play to the best of their effort, and that's hard to do. It's hard to bring a team together and get them to play their hardest. So that was kind of the biggest thing I learned from him.
Yeah, I definitely believe that, because to get a team to play together, I mean, like I said, I go to Kentucky and I've watched their basketball program for years. And I've seen how hard it is sometimes for John Calipari to get that group of freshmen or a new group of freshmen to play together. Right. It's been a while since we've been back at the national championship. And a lot of that is because these players come in and they can't play together. So right. I definitely believe how hard that is. And so he definitely gets the most out of getting his players to play together.
Mm-hmm.
That's great to hear. Well, that's really all I have for you. And I thank you for taking the time to do this. I know you're busy. I know we had to reschedule a few times, but I wish you the best of luck in your basketball journey, and I appreciate you taking the time once again. But do you have any questions for me or any last remarks for the listeners?
Not really, man. I don't really got anything.
That totally fair. Totally fair.
How are you doing, man? How's life?
It's good. Actually, it's good. Summer break. I got about a month left before I go back, and then yeah, that's going to be tough to balance MyTakeHoops with school. Like that's.
Yeah, you've blown up, man.
Thank you.
It's been awesome to see.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. It means a ton.
I've been looking at all these like posts about basketball players, and it's the whole long paragraph.
Thank you, man. It means a lot to hear you say that, because there's a lot of unseen hours and a lot of late nights. So I appreciate it. It means a lot.
No, it's noticeable, man. It's definitely noticeable. What made you?
I think no, actually, I know this answer. But like I started about a year and a half ago, and then what happened was, like, before I'd be like watching college basketball games with my family, and something would happen. It'd be some ball screen or something. Something would happen in the game, and then I would say something. I would make a remark about it, and then like 5 seconds later, the commentators would like say the exact same thing, like word for word. And this would happen like 5 to 7 times throughout a game, and then like consistently. And so my parents were like, you should probably like do something with this like random knowledge that you have about basketball.
Yeah.
Like, all right, I guess I'll start an Instagram account. And then I pretty much just got addicted to it. Like, cause I knew like Instagram was the platform that I knew how to operate. Like I don't have Twitter. I don't know. Like I didn't really know much about TikTok. So like I knew how the algorithm worked on Instagram. So I kind of just went hard on that, and it's blessed me, opened doors. I mean, I got to give credit to God. I know you got a Bible verse in your bio, and like God's opened so many doors for me.
That's great, man. That's great to recognize that.
Yeah.
What so do you want to be like a sports analyst when you grow up, or what do you want to?
I don't know. Like I love doing my own thing, but it would be cool to be like work for ESPN or 247 or Rivals down the line. But I really don't know. I'm in school to be an engineer right now. So
Are you really?
yeah.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
doing. Man.
Really? What are you in?
Mechanical.
Okay, I'm in chemical. That's
Okay. You're smart. Got
no, dude. They're all hard. They're all hard.
What'd you take in high school?
I took
Are you taking like AP stuff or no?
I pretty much took every AP that I could.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't take like AP much like that. Like I took AP Calc 1, AP Calc 2, Physics 1, Physics 2. I was gonna take chemistry, but I didn't want to double up science for my last year, and I was like, I'll just take Physics 2. But what about you?
oh my gosh, you took AP Physics too? We didn't offer it, but
I took it with COVID too.
Oh my gosh. I can't imagine, dude. And the AP exams, like those were horrible. Like to do them online. Oh my gosh. I took pretty much any that my school would offer. We didn't offer Physics 2 or like psychology or anything. Like I took chemistry and then all the history ones because I was like, I don't want to go to college and have to do these history classes. I'd much rather just get them out.
I wish I had done that, man. Now, as some of these history professors be.
I know, man. It's crazy. Like I didn't understand. Like some of these professors just don't care. Like it's like
not at all.
Like it's ridiculous. And then like so I like kind of just grinded so hard in high school. I just put my head down. And like, yeah, I like missed out on some opportunities, but like I said, I've been introverted. I'm not the most social being, so it wasn't a big deal for me. But yeah, I'm lucky to have some stuff out of the way. But now, next year, and I'm sure you know, next year, sophomore year, it's like when stuff really starts getting hard. Yeah. And like, dude, how do you balance that with basketball?
Oh, it's like you said, I'm more introverted, so I don't really, especially. Yeah, man. It's tough for sure. A lot of the times, professors are pretty understanding. Like, if you get a professor that likes an athlete, like, you can say, hey, like, I'm not going to be able to turn in tonight. Can I turn in a day late? But then sometimes you get some professors that just have it out for you from the beginning. That's the worst, man.
So on road trips, are you, like, taking exams and doing homework?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It depend. Like I said, some professors are like, hey, just turn in when you can or stuff like that. And there's like a balance because you don't want to take advantage of the professor.
Right. Jeez, so, that's crazy.
Definitely tough to balance everything though.
That's incredible, dude. Like, there's not very many former 5-star recruits in college playing basketball and doing engineering. I'll tell you that much. So hats off to you. That's incredible.
I appreciate it.
Are you taking classes now in the summer to like kind of get ahead?
So they're actually there's no engineering classes for second mini semester, which kind of sucks. So I'm just taking public speaking right now, which is just like a gen ed.
Right. Get it out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of a joke. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be tough. So I got a 4 on my Calc 1 exam.
Okay.
So I'm gonna use that as a credit, but I took that my junior year.
Okay.
So I don't remember it very.
That's
very
what
well.
we did. That's what we did. So I retook it.
Yeah. So I might retake it, or I might like get a tutor and then just like act like I'm taking it right now, but just, kind of just go through it again with the tutor and then jump into Calc 2 this fall.
Gotcha. Yeah. I took Calc 2 this spring and it was like, it's definitely harder than Calc 1 for sure. 100% harder than Calc 1. I've always been good at math. I mean, if you're in engineering, you've probably always been good at math. Yeah. So it's pretty easy. I mean, once you pick up on the patterns, it's all integration. So
yeah, exactly.
That was probably my hardest class though, this spring. But next fall, man, oh my gosh, it's like I've got some chemical processing class, some other like chemical engineering specific class, Calc 3, and then like I was gonna have Chem 2, but I'm taking that in the summer. But then we get to like organic chem and all of that, and so like
That's cool, man.
So we're hoping maybe that My Take Hoops takes off or something and never have to finish that journey.
That's funny, man. Yeah, well, good luck to you, man. That's more power to you. That's tough.
No, the best of luck to you too, man. I don't understand how you're about to be a D1 basketball player, a high major, and do engineering. That is incredible.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks again for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, bro. And let me know if you ever need anything.
Yeah, for sure.